school is just school. Like, nobody really cares about school unless you know, are really forced into it by parents most of the time, you know, so they, you know what I'm saying, you know, they gotta put it on you to make sure that you stay on track and don't fall off, all that, so.
I don't think that people realize the amount of stress and work that they put on us as students. I kind of feel like they forget at the end of the day that we humans too. I feel like because they're okay, they automatically think we are. You never know what anybody's going through. A lot of people suffer in silence.
My name is Kavon Bailey. I'm the site coordinator here at West Philadelphia High School. I galvanize all the resources at Penn, and I bring them here to create and facilitate the school day and after-school programs. The biggest hurdle is some of the students don't feel like they belong here.
I guess so.
The school district is under-resourced, it's underfunded, it's understaffed. So if you aren't providing the students with what they need, you know, the bare minimum, why should they be here? Calm space was something that was pretty new, but very needed.
My name is Emily Dunawilla. I'm a social emotional learning coach, but I manage and run the Calm Space, which is a space to de-stress in a safe environment for students after school at West. And it's also a space to socialize, to talk through what's going on during the day and in your life.
So, this is Miss Vicky's feeling chart. So, are you feeling any of these general emotions? And then once we identify it, we open it, and there are more specific factors. Really? Okay, well that's nice that you're both feeling the same thing. I was just, Shahada, who's behind there, was helping me come up. That's her, if you can see her. She helped me come up with how can we help students in the Calm Space address goals. So we were talking about one of her goals is finding a job. So we decided okay, identify the starting point and identify the ending point. And in her case, that was not having a job and then having a job and then 3 steps to get there, which for her were apply or look for jobs and then fill out an application and then references for her 3rd step, which she's already doing. She's already applying. So, but it was very helpful because I think it's something that's needed in the Calm Space.
So I realized, okay, I think I want to help create more accessible forms of well-being. So that's how the Calm Space idea was born. To create a space for people to come and de-stress and actually have people that can formally listen, have ways of de-stressing where you don't even have to talk about what you're going through, but you can just sit and color or sit and play with a stress ball. I have the resources and the theoretical knowledge to build this space, but I don't have the cultural knowledge necessarily. So I think that it would be the best case scenario to have someone who represents the community to be in my role.
My part in the Calm Space and my vision was seeing that there was a need for students who wanted to actually talk about things but didn't know how to go about it and didn't feel safe talking to anyone else. Ultimately, the goal is to really get a lot of peer-to-peer action, helping each other out with the ins and outs of being a teenager.
She asked me a question one day. It was all weird. I started thinking about it, just asked, and then I asked her, answer her questions, and I started going in there frequently. Sometimes she'll, try to talk to us about, our personal problems and stuff. Safe place to be in.
My experience in the Calm Space was a really good experience, be able to talk with other students and a counselor here just to calm my mind down.
I'm pretty comfortable. I trust them enough to keep it to themselves, keep it private, and they'll give me good advice sometimes about my problems.
I felt like it definitely helps because, you know, a lot of students, you know, they go home to a negative, you know, environment and stuff like that. So I feel as though that they used the calm space to, you know, to calm down and take a step back from things and to see what everybody relates to and what they're doing, and, you know, to be able to talk to somebody when you need to talk to somebody.
They are like regular teenagers, so they'll talk about relationship issues. Like I hear a lot about breakups, you know, issues with exes.
A relationship treat you like how you supposed to treat somebody else and not care about just your feelings. And being single, you can do what you want. You don't got nobody tell you gotta come in the house at this time. You can't be around this. You can't be around that. Being single is freedom, but being in a relationship is structure.
Sometimes it's also a space for them to talk about what's happening during the school day with teachers.
Teachers, like, they'll look at you like, oh, he's a straight A student. He gets to class on time. He don't do nothing crazy. Just stay out the way. And then like one incident can happen, and like the whole, like, this is a small school, so like the whole school gonna know, and then teachers are gonna find out, and then they gonna look at you different, ask you like all these questions.
They judge you. They're quick to judge, or they're quick to say you can't do this or do that.
Instead
but
of listening.
they be like, but then they'll be like, oh, express yourself, be you. But then when a person, like when you try to be you,
They're so judgmental towards
they're
you.
judgmental towards you.
But then if you go under the surface, there's so many challenges to living in West Philly. And for example, today the question of the day was, if you could change something about Philly, what would it be? And one of the students said, everything. And I think that's very telling. I think there's certain ways that they are very proud to be from West Philly, and then there's certain ways that being from an under-resourced community is unfair, and they know that it's unfair. They know that gun violence is not something that every community has to deal with. They know that, you know, losing family members isn't something that every teenager has to go through. And yet, for a lot of them, they've lost family members. They've lost members of their community. They do have to think about safety. They do have to think about food insecurity. And so I think there's these underlying issues that they may not talk about a lot that will come out every once in a while.
What I hate about Philly, the violence.
Every single day, this person has been shot. It's all over the news a lot.
Everybody thinking they gotta be tough and bad all the time.
I've been through racism too. You know, people calling me dark.
There was a student who was sitting in the comm space, and she said, "Miss Emily, do I talk white?" I did not know how to answer that. And so I said, "I'm not sure how to answer that." And I said, "Tell me more about it." And she said, "Well, all my friends say that I talk white. So, I want to talk white." And she began to talk about how she wants to talk white because she doesn't want to use curse words. She doesn't want to use all the language that she hears that's inappropriate. Then we continued the conversation with a couple of other students, and one student said, "Yeah, I get told that I talk white all the time. People make fun of me, people tell me that I talk white." I flagged down a teacher, Mr. Van Hook, who's the band teacher.
All right, 1, 2, 3, and all right, now.
Mr. Van Hook grew up in Philadelphia, so I asked him to kind of weigh in, and he was like, "Yeah, that's a microaggression that people use when they aren't comfortable with you being well-spoken." We were talking about if everything changed about Philly and one thing could stay the same, what would it be? Josh, one of the students, had said, "I would keep the language," because it's like a cultural norm that's important to him.
Lingo is different. Sometimes, only if you from in the city, you understand how people talk. You won't understand none of it. What did he just say?
Yeah, me, I moved from here. People was like, you young boy. I was like, what is that? What are you talking about? And then John, that's a big, like.
It's a nail.
Yeah, that's a big John. Like
So I like to put the outsides of my hands like this. So do that. You know the bar can spin, right? So I'm going straight down the wrist. I moved from here, probably when I was maybe like 12 or 11. And I moved to rural central Pennsylvania, where, as you can imagine, is a lot different than Philly. The first thing I noticed was, I got made fun of for how I talked. Too much Philly, too much slang, this, that, or the other. And I really, really had to learn how to navigate white spaces. It taught me how entrenched a lot of racism is. It wasn't until I moved back to Philly that I was told I talked white. So I had to deal with experiencing both the transitions from Philly to rural Pennsylvania and then back, and then being told that I talk a certain way and it's not the way that I should be talking.
Rain, oh, that was the glass.
But I feel like I am a good bridge between not only educating the side of people who are telling me that I talk white, or, oh, like you don't talk like other black people, oh, I like this. And then the other side of, oh, you talk too white, or you're this and you're that. But for me, it shouldn't be about how I talk, but about like my experience and who I am. Black people shouldn't be looked at as a monolith. They live in a neighborhood that's predominantly black. They go to a school that's predominantly black. Their friends are predominantly black. But, a lot of the jobs out there, especially ones that pay well, are going to be in white spaces. So little things like your hair. You got to worry about your hair. You got to worry about how you dress, how you talk. You got to worry about how you smell. There's just so many little things that they don't know yet because they haven't experienced it yet. It's not something that we focus on. We should, but we don't. I just want to make sure that I'm being an example for other black people that you can be who you are and still be black. When we step outside into the street, I'm looked at just as, the same way as you. Doesn't matter how I talk.
Honestly, I've been thinking a lot about a sense of belonging, a sense of self-worth. Those are key things that it's like building someone's core, like a core strength. Then you can go forward and do anything. You can go to South Dakota for college and like still be okay because you know that you have that like core self-worth.
Community, I feel as though it's people coming together and people bringing themselves, like putting their energy into other people.
Let's say you play football and all the stress coming to you from home, your parents is going through all this and it's coming on you. Sometimes it's gonna mess up your ability on playing on sports and in the classroom. You're not even gonna feel like doing your work, and it feel like everything piling up on you. You're not gonna know what to do.
Yeah, a few people like you can really talk to, and they'll listen and understand and get you out your mind, calm you down. Even like your friends that's your right friends that's gonna be in your group, and you could talk to them sometimes. Like Josh, I talk to him all the time.
My big thing is making sure that they know that like, this is my neighborhood, this is my school, we look out for each other here. And yeah, there's just so much power that comes with being valuable and feeling valuable. And I want the kids to know that like they're you know, nobody's turning away from them. You know, the stuff that they're going through, like, I want to know, I want to be a part of, I want to support you, I want to help you. So if we can start in the neighborhood, if we can start in the school, then you can create the neighborhood for yourself, that like you can be who you want to be. Like, you don't have to be in this box. White America has already drawn this box for you. You don't have to keep making the box smaller for yourself. And I feel like, you know, that's what we as a black community, as the West Philadelphia black community, will do. I think the students need to feel ownership over where they live. And I don't think they get that. I don't think they understand how much power they have within themselves. My goal is to get them to not only recognize that they're valuable, but also feel valuable. In turn, you then start to look at, you know, other people who look like you as being valuable. And then, you know, the people in your community then start to look out for each other. You then start to talk to each other more. When you value yourself, you then start to value where you live. I just want to be like a staple in the communities, in the schools, that they know that like somebody is here for you. Your parents might not be, your friends may not be, but somebody is here for you.
Love y'all. Big thanks.
Getting real.